that becomes a great barrier, a bondage. Such person will never use the intellect, will never try to reason what is being taught. Far away. To develop one's own ability to experience it is far away. Becomes a big bondage. If someone who is convinced with the Sutamaya Panya and yet, being a human being, a human species, wants to reason out things and he starts reasoning, is it true? Is it correct? Is it acceptable? Is it pragmatic? Then the elders get worried. The elders of the family, the elders of the society, the elders of this particular community, they don't like it. They say, oh, you don't have belief. You don't have faith in our scriptures. You don't have faith in the founder of our religion. If you doubt, then you know what the result will be. After death, you will go to hell. And then a description of hell is given. So terrible. And he says, no, Baba, no. I don't like to go to that hell. I accept reasonable or unreasonable, pragmatic or non-pragmatic, anything, I accept. I don't want to go to hell. So poor fellow, he accepts it out of fear. Same very elders, they got another way. And they will say, look, if you accept whatever is written in our scriptures, whatever our tradition says, our philosophy says, if you accept it, then you know what will happen. After death, you will get heaven. And then a wonderful description of heaven. So wonderful, so wonderful. You will enjoy all the sensual pleasures there, celestial pleasures, so wonderful, which you can't get in this world. The mouth starts watering, wonderful. If I get that, I accept everything. I don't mind accepting. By accepting, if I get that heaven, I am the first person to accept. You accept it. So you accept it either out of blind faith, or you accept out of fear, or you accept out of greed. You are just accepting. You are not using your grey matter to understand what it is. And somebody has taken the next step. That also can become a big bondage. Many a times it so happens. You start reasoning, you find very logical. And especially the belief of your own tradition. Like a good lawyer, you will find so many ways of convincing yourself, this is correct. Our tradition says so, it is correct. You keep on arguing yourself and get yourself convinced, yes, this is correct. And that is the end of it. Now I know everything. My intellect says this is correct. And you inflate ego. I know everything now. I am such a wise person. I can write books upon books on this philosophy, on this belief. I can give lectures. I can have debates, arguments, discussion to prove that every other belief is wrong. This belief is correct. And this madness will not allow him to take the next step. So these two can become big hindrance. If one starts taking the step in the Bhavanamaya Panya, then you start experiencing the reality yourself. So long as you are not experienced, the reality is no reality for you. It is always distorted. Each individual has to experience the truth oneself to reach the final goal. This person, Siddhartha Gautama, he realized the truth within himself, developed his Bhavanamaya Panya, and became an enlightened person, became a liberated person. This Panya that is developed within himself could liberate only one person, not two. And that one person was Gautama, Siddhartha Gautama, none else. None else can liberate it because of his wisdom. Others can get guidance, others can get inspiration, that's all right. But each individual has to develop one's own wisdom to reach the final goal of full liberation. One's own wisdom, bhavanamaya panya, the wisdom that you lived, you experienced. This alone can break the bondages of ignorance, of craving, of aversion, of negativity. This alone can eradicate all the miseries. This gives fruit, not the first, not the second. An example, someone very hungry has gone to a restaurant, got his seat, menu is placed before him, he goes through that menu. Ah, wonderful. The food prepared today is very delicious. His mouth starts watering. Wonderful. One incident. Now he orders for the food. It will take some time before it's served. And he looks around, people who had come earlier, they are already served food and they are taking their food and they are enjoying it. Certainly, the food is very delicious today. Look, everybody is enjoying. Again the mouth starts watering. Second incident. Third incident, the food is served to this person and he starts enjoying it. The first was Sutmaya Panya, that menu card only he had read. He had not tasted it. The second Chintamaya Panya, his intellect sees, because he has seen people when they enjoy something, their facial expressions are of this type, and look, these people are enjoying because their facial expressions say that they are enjoying it. Certainly, it must be very delicious. He has not tasted himself. Only the third time when it was given to him, he started eating it, tasting it, then yes, he started really enjoying it. This is Bhavanamaya Panya. The first and the second cannot make you taste the reality. Another example, someone is sick, goes to a doctor, doctor examines, and then writes medicine, a prescription on a paper. Very happy, comes back home, has great faith in the doctor, nothing wrong, one must have faith in one's doctor, physician. But how this, when this faith becomes blind faith, devotion becomes blind devotion? In his house, on the altar, he places a statue of the doctor, picture of the doctor, and offers sweet and fruits and flowers and incense, and then makes 108 rounds around it and bows down 3 times. What does that help? Takes out that piece of paper and keeps on reciting. 1 pill in the morning, 1 pill in the afternoon, 1 pill in the evening, 1 pill in the morning, 1 pill in the afternoon. What does one get? Madness. This is what happens when the faith becomes blind faith, the devotion becomes blind devotion. All right, second incident. After all, a human being, a rational being, so he runs to the doctor. Why you gave me this piece of paper? And what is this? How will it help me? The doctor is an intelligent fellow. He says, well, look, this is your disease and this is the cause of the disease. If you take this medicine, this cause will get eradicated. When the cause gets eradicated, your sickness gets eradicated. Ah, wonderful. Now I understand. My doctor is so wonderful. His medicine is so wonderful. And what he does now? Coming back home, he starts fighting with all the neighbors. Useless, your doctors are all useless. My doctor is wonderful. The medicine suggested by your doctors is useless. The medicine suggested by my doctor is wonderful. Keeps on fighting, doesn't take medicine. Keeps on fighting. Oh, this is what happens. Every wise person, a saintly person, an enlightened person, when he finds people miserable, suffering, then he gives this prescription of Dhamma. You practice Shila, you practice Samadhi, you practice Panya, you will come out of your misery. Nobody tries to practice. They start different sects, beliefs, dogmas, rites, rituals, and get involved in that, and nobody practices. No benefit. And the third Panya, Bhavanamaya Panya, is to apply Dhamma in life by direct experience. It is only this which gives the benefit. your own direct experience. Now the difficulty comes, how to have direct experience? Direct experience of this mind-matter phenomena. How a constant interaction is going on, and because of that, how the negativity gets originated and then it starts multiplying, starts overpowering you, and how with the understanding of that you can stop the arising of this negativity. Even if it has arisen, you won't allow it to multiply and overpower you. All that has to be experienced, and that is all that is happening at the depth of the mind. You must develop a faculty, an ability, capability to experience it. These 3 days, this is what you were doing. Unless you have that capability, that faculty, you can't practice vipassana. Not possible. Like if you don't have your eye faculty, you can't see anything. If you don't have your ear sense faculty, you can't hear anything. Similarly, this mind faculty which takes you to the depth of the mind and matter interaction, unless you have this faculty, you can't. An example, 2 friends, young boys, very poor, live the life of beggar. They go around and beg food. One of them is blind, birth blind. One day it so happened that this friend who was blind, birth blind, he had very high fever. So the other friend said, all right, you stay here. I will go around and beg food and then we shall eat together. He went, and it so happened that day a housewife felt very compassionate, and she offered a very sweet dish. In our country we call it kheer, a pudding prepared from milk and rice and dry fruits and sweet, etc. This was offered. He was very happy. He enjoyed it, but this is liquid and he has no container to take for his friend, so he could not bring to the friend. Came back and very honestly told him, today in the begging I got this kheer, so delicious, but sorry I could not bring for you. I had no container. All right, you didn't bring, but tell me, what is this kheer? You don't know what is kheer? I don't know what is kheer. Oh, it is white, because made of milk, so white. White. Hey, what is white? You don't know what is white? I don't know what is white. It's not black. But what is black? You don't know white, you don't know black. What sort of person you are? I don't know what's white, what's black. Birth blind. How can I know what's white, what's black? He was looking here and there and he saw one white duck, caught hold of it and brought, look, white like this duck, white like this duck. He has no eyes, how can he see what is white and what is this duck? He uses his fingertips, passes his hand over this duck. Ah, now I understand what is white. White is very soft, very soft. Hey, what's soft? What softness has got to do with white? You said it is like this duck, and I touched it, it is so soft, and now you say white is not soft. How can I understand what is white? Oh, you mad fellow. I told you white is like this duck, and you can't understand it. All right, let me examine again. And he examines again. From the beak he starts up to the end of the plume, the whole body. Ah, now I understand. It is crooked. Why it is crooked? So for all those people who talk of high philosophies, but have never experienced anything because they don't have the faculty to experience it, for them the truth is always crooked. The whole life the truth will remain crooked. They can't understand. This faculty to experience the truth is very important, and this is what you started doing. If you are just working with your Shila and don't take the next step of Samadhi, you would not have got this faculty. You started with Samadhi, and if you had worked with the Samadhi with some object of imagination, verbalization, visualization, again you would not have got this faculty, because you worked with the reality pertaining to your own mind matter phenomena. And you started working on this area with the breath, which is truth, and you are experiencing it. Then the touch of the breath, you are experiencing it. And now the third day you started feeling sensations, the biochemical reactions here. This is how you are going to the deeper levels of your own mind. The deepest level of the mind, what is called the unconscious mind, is actually not unconscious. This is all the time conscious, day and night, but conscious of the sensations on the body that you started experiencing here. Such sensations are there throughout the body. Throughout the body something or the other is happening, something or the other is happening, some change is taking place, a change with the manifestation of this sensation or a change with the manifestation of that sensation, but some change is going on. And that can be experienced only by whatever you did for these 3 days. A beginning is made. Tomorrow you will explore the entire field and you will find everywhere some sensation or the other. This is how you are moving from the surface level of your mind to the depth of the mind, where deep-rooted complexes from the past are all accumulated there, where lies the behavior pattern of your mind, the deepest level of your mind. And the behavior pattern of this mind is to react. Whenever it feels any pleasant sensation on the body, it reacts with craving, with clinging. Whenever it experiences any unpleasant sensation on the body, it reacts with aversion, with hatred.